All right, today we're back on my little Swagtron EB7 Plus Elite with a 350 watt crazy power motor, a 36 volt battery, single digit amp hours, and we're rocking. And we got crazy kids. We're rocking. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what this bike, or bikes like this, foldable, low end, under $700 bikes, e-bikes, who are they for, primarily. So, ordinarily I probably wouldn't buy one because I'm more of a, an off-road, kind of aggressive type rider, I guess. I like the higher end bikes, dual suspension, a lot of capabilities, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're not going to talk about the deficiencies of this bike at all. What we're going to do is talk about the capabilities of a bike like this, and we'll go down to even like the Jetson Bolt, or the Jetson Bolt Pro, which is $250 or $300 at Costco. So we're going to talk about the capabilities of these little bikes and what you can do with them. What kind of brought me to think about this kind of a topic is I was riding by my neighborhood the other day and I saw two like 25-year-olds, a guy and a girl, they're probably married, and they had two Jetson Bolts, the old ones, not the Pro, right outside at the end of their driveway, and they were airing them up and they're ready to go. And I was like, you know what, you don't buy those just because they're cheap. You buy them because they're portable. You buy them because they're fun, and so forth. So we're gonna talk a little bit about these bikes, and I would consider probably, if you've seen the video I did recently on the 750 watt foldable bikes, and those are upwards of $1,500. This one I would consider at the low end, I mean at the high end of the low end bikes. So $700, $699, 350 watt. Most of these bikes in the foldable under $700 range are 250 to 350 watt, and they're all rear hub, and typically 12 to 16 inch tires. We're gonna talk about who can use one of these and why you'd buy one, right? So first is the intimidation factor. They're not intimidating at all. A lot of people are afraid of e-bikes. They're like, oh my God, a powerful bike with a motor, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna fall off? Whether it's a non-aggressive rider, an older person, a really younger person, these bikes are not intimidating. They're just really easy. They give you a little extra push, and they're a lot of fun. So as opposed to the higher end bikes that have a lot of power, a lot of torque, I don't know if you know much about batteries, but this thing has a 36 volt, which is a really small battery. It has single digit amp hours. So it's not gonna really be pushing you very far or very fast. So there's that. Second is the obvious portability factor, right? You can put these bikes, whether it's a Jetson Bolt on the low end that has foldable handlebars, or a bike like this that has foldable handlebars and the frame folds in half, the form factor gets really small, and you can very easily put it in your car, in the front seat, in the back seat, in the trunk. You could put it, if you're in a big city, you could very easily put it into a duffel bag, or just carry it under your arm and go on a subway, on a train, like no problem. You could even throw it in the back of a cab, It's just, the possibilities are endless, right? Looking at storage, let's say you're a person that lives in a small apartment and there's a walk-up, you're not going to take a big bike. And let's say there's no elevator, right? A walk-up. You're not going to take a big bike up those steps, but one of these little 30-40 pound folding bikes, pretty easy, even if it's a couple stairs, a couple levels, it's not that big of a deal. Also, you can store it in your apartment. Let's say you live in New York or San Francisco and the prices are astronomical and you have no space. You have a little studio apartment. You could just throw this thing in the corner. You can almost fit it behind the freaking toilet, Also for camping, let's say you're you're going camping, and you know, you've got your motor home. You don't have any room. You could throw this in the freaking, you know, under the sink or something easily. It's just very easily portable and storable. Now, let's talk about, you know, where you can go and what you can do with it. So, if you have limited physical capabilities, we're not going to get into why or how, and you know, just let's say you have limited physical capabilities. You're not some, you know, BMX racer or mountain biker. You can ride this, get some air, get some exercise, and get a little extra help, you know? Put it in pedal assist 1, 2, or 3, or if you're really tired, just put it in throttle and just ride around. You know, you see a lot of people that ordinarily might not be riding around and experiencing the air and the outdoors just because they have an electric bike, you know? And that's what this gives you. It gives you a little extra push, gives you a little extra throttle, you know, gives you some throttle if you need it, and just the possibilities, you know? Possibilities are endless. Let's say you need to run errands, right? And gas is expensive, or you just don't feel like using your car, it's too close, walking's a little far. You can bring a backpack and just throw your groceries in the back of this thing, you know, in the backpack on this thing, and ride around. You know, you've got, on this thing at least, you've got, you know, 12 to 15 miles range. You know, on similar bikes, at least 10 to 12 miles range. And most of the time, if you're going to take a bike to the grocery store, it's not going to be that far. So you got that option, right? I've talked about this once before, but it's true. If you are rehabilitating, let's say you're a freaking world-class athlete, or you're, you know, an older person that had a, you know, a hip replaced, and you're on the mend, and the doctor is telling you you need to get some exercise. And walking is, you know, one thing, but you can actually go on one of these. Very low impact, and, you know, under the right circumstances. I'm not a freaking doctor, but, and I don't know if it's a hip replacement person or not, but regardless, if you need some exercise and you have limited, again, physical capabilities, and maybe you're on the mend, you can jump on one of these and moderate how much energy you have to put out. If you're on a bike and you're 3 miles away from home, you got to ride home. And regardless of the terrain and the topography, you got to get home. So your speed and your propelling your forward is all based on you. With something like this, you have options. Again, you can use throttle, you can use pedal assist 1, 2, 3. If it goes up to 5, you can use all the way up to 5. You have the option, right? So that's something. Something else is these bikes typically, with the seat going all the way down, they can get pretty small. So if you're on the short end, I would say one of these bikes, like the one I'm riding, or even the Jetson Bolt, which I used to have, by the way, is ideal for a person under 5'8". But I'm 6 foot and I've ridden both easily. I just got an email or a message from somebody from one of my videos where I compared the Jetson Bolt to the Swagtron EB7, and he said he's 650 pounds, 6 foot, and he's been riding it for a long time. Okay, so, and I even heard somebody say they're 6'5", riding the EB7 Plus. And, you know, a lot of six foot people are riding the Swag, or the little Jetson Bolt. So, you know, you can ride it. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing. You might have your knees a little bit up close to your chest, and the handlebars are a little close to your body, but you're still moving, you're still riding, you're still getting it far out there. The other thing with one of these bikes is the access to places you would not ordinarily go, right? So I just went up this little hill. If this bike didn't have any power, I wouldn't be going up this hill, because it's just like, it's prohibitive, you know, on a little bike like this. But with the power that it gives me, no problem, you know. You also would go farther than you would ordinarily go. The average person that's not a really big, you know, bike rider or cyclist isn't going to go much further than maybe, you know, 4 to 7 miles on their bike, maybe down a, you know, park path, or you know, along the beach or something. But if you have one of these, you can very easily go 5-6 miles out and 5-6 miles back, you know. And again, you moderate how much power you're putting out. So, you know, there's that. In terms of the ideal rider, I used to think it was a person that was inexperienced, a person that was on the shorter end, a person that had limited physical capabilities. But now, after seeing people, I ride my bikes all the time. And right now I have 3 electric bikes, and 2 mountain bikes and a road bike. I have like 6 bikes of my own, not even counting my wife and my son. So I ride bikes all the time, all different places. You've seen all my videos. I used to think it was for those types of people. You know, people that had limited capabilities and they weren't very tall and they weren't looking for anything aggressive. But now, if you've seen the videos of this thing, me riding it, I've taken this thing off-road, a pretty decent trail. I've taken it up like a mile-long hill that had like a 8% grade. I don't think it's for just those people I was just talking about. I think it's for just about anybody. You know, I mean, Lou Ferrigno, for crying out loud, if you wanted to, could ride this freaking bike. You know, and it's cheap, and it just opens up possibilities. There's so much you can do with it. I do think it's probably not for the aggressive rider. It has limited physical capabilities, this bike, but an aggressive BMX rider could certainly ride it, and they would put it through its paces, and it probably wouldn't hold up that well, but they could certainly ride it. So the point is that these bikes, I think, are for everybody. I didn't realize that initially, but I think they're for everyone. I don't think there's anybody excluded and who could ride this bike. I think anybody could. And the price point just makes it so freaking affordable. Let's say you can afford $1,500 or $2,000, but you have a partner, you know, a wife, a partner, whatever, a significant other. You gotta buy 2. And the average electric bike that's not foldable, like I said, is upwards of $1,500, $2,000. So you could buy 2, like that couple I was talking about. Buy 2 Jets and Bolts for $500 total. Buy one of these and another one for $1,500 or $1,400 total. You know what I mean? So for under $1,500, you can get 2, or depending on which ones you buy, you can potentially get 3. So even 4. If you get the Jets and Bolt for, let's say it's on the high end, it's $300. I've seen it for low as $250. Let's just say it's $300. Let's say you're a family of 4, right? You got little Billy and little Johnny that are 8 and 10, and you got your wife and yourself. Get 4 of them, $1,200. The whole family's got it. And you could literally put those in the back of your sedan, literally. So, you know, it just opens up options, you know, tremendous options. I used to think when I got my first e-bike, it was a mid-drive, 750 watt mountain bike. I got it 4 years ago. And I had ridden an electric bike at, you know, one of those like neighborhood street fairs. And some guy's like, hey, check this out. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I rode it, and I was like, man, these are freaking cool. And so I went and I researched one, and I got one. And I used to think that they were just like a novelty, you know, something fun. But then I start to realize that it just opens up options for people, you know, tremendous options. So I don't know if you guys saw that freaking Frisbee. It just zoomed right by me. Anyway, I'm at a Frisbee golf place. Just opens up options. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't be scared of electric bikes. Keep in mind that they give you tremendous options, tremendous possibilities, tremendous freedom, and regardless of who you are, you know, you can ride it. And clearly now you can afford it. You know, they used to be really expensive, but now all these different, you know, form factors, whether they're foldable and small with small wheels, or big and, you know, fixed frame and all this stuff, they're just becoming more and more affordable, and there's more and more options available. And so I think an e-bike could be for anybody, especially if you look at the affordable ones like this. And the fact that they're foldable, you might think, oh, it's, you know, it's questionable integrity of the strength of the frame. Nah, it's not true. These things fold, and the bolt is so strong, and the frame that folds in half is so strong that you don't even feel it. You forget that you're freaking, that it folds in half, you know what I mean? So it's got a lot of strength. So don't worry about that either. Anyway, hopefully that gave you guys some thoughts on who should buy this. I guess the net of this video is anybody can freaking ride it, you know? Anybody. Doesn't matter who you are. So anyway, my opinions have changed a little bit on electric bikes since I got this little Swagtron. Here it is. You know? It's just a cute little bike. You think it's a toy, but it's not. You have tremendous options. You can go just about anywhere on this thing, you know? If you're willing to pedal, you can go up hills, go through dirt. You gotta be careful if you're going over rocks, but you can. So anyway, That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. God bless. Peace out.